Shout out to Dina Solomon for her delicious soup. Makes my week. Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. Tiffy is with us. Good morning, Tiffy. We're all happy to see you.
I'm so happy to be here.
Still.
I was last week when I was up at 2 o'clock and I still couldn't get the Zoom.
More fresh. So we're in Vayera, Shemos Vayera, and if you look at the we passed out. We didn't pass out. Passed over. That's face out. We distributed these pages, and let's take a peek at them because I spent hours writing them. I don't think anybody just looks at them, even me, especially no. Yeah. Oh, could you bring, if nobody needs it there, I need it non-stop. I know, but I need one person only. I actually brought one. Okay, so the Bnei Israel are enslaved in Egypt, and Hashem is with us. There's a quote, a Hasidic quote. It says, "Hashem iti, etzli v'imadi." In English, that's Hashem is with me, near me, and together with me. He never leaves us, especially in the dark places. In Esha B'chosha, Hashem Morli. If I sit in the darkness, Hashem is my light. That's a Navi, a prophet. I don't know which one, but all the Naviim are, we can rely on them. We're in the weeks of Shovavim. Shovavim are the first letters of Shemos. Va'era is the second week of Shovavim, starting the second week. Shemos Va'era Bo B'Shalach Yisrael Mishpatim. 6 first weeks of the 6 first Parshas of Shemos are called Shovavim. Jewish people were down until we got redeemed from Egypt. We got the Holy Torah. We learned how to use it, Mishpatim. And this is a time, especially the darkest part of the year, to know that Hashem is with us and to turn to Him. So people say extra Tehillim and Shovavim is an Eitz Ratzon, a special time to turn to Hashem and to improve our midos. And I'm giving this share also for my mother should have an aliyah. Her neshama should go up. Her yard site is on Friday. Her name was Chaya Chaika Basket Tefesha.
Oh,
And
hallelujah.
a Rechov Yerushalayim for Chana and you can't hear who? Oh, I can. I'll move closer. To move that table and us. Oh, move this way. Is that quiet? Maybe. And a Rechov Yerushalayim for your husband is Shlomo ben Malik. Malik, he told us how to remember. Malik. Shlomo ben Malik. Rechov Yerushalayim and good news. We're gonna. This Shabbos is Shabbos of Mevorchim, of blessing the new month of Tzfat. And Tzfat are the 3 words: Shenishma, Shenispaser, B'suros Tovos. Hear good news, Tzfat. Could you repeat? In Shvat, everything looks outside dead, done, no hope. And in Shvat, we have Tu B'Shvat. That's when the sap starts to form. In the middle of the coldest, darkest day, we have hope. Can somebody read the 2 questions that we want to bring into our heart from this week's Parsha? Thank you. So let us remember that this Parsha by Erev begins and ends in slavery. It looks like a person born in slavery, dies in slavery forever. Last Parsha, Shemot, started, we were free. We were in Goshen, we were honored, we had the best of the best. And then it ended in slavery. Next week, Bo starts. Bo is base Aleph. That's bases 2 and Aleph is 1. There were 3 last makos plays in Bo. The 3 last ones. Then it went on that we were free, that it was over. This parsha is the darkest of the dark. It begins and ends in slavery. It's like Hanukkah. Remember the story of the 5th night? But it never ever, of course you do, never ever falls on Shabbos. It's the lowest night, and that's the night we have to bring up the most light. The Rebbe said Chabad. And so also the Bostoner Rebbe told us once there's 9 days of mourning, before Tisha B'Av. The hardest days are the 9 days. There's 3 weeks, and then we call it the 9 days. Why is it more than 7? Because there's Shabbos in the 9 days to calm us, to make us happy. And so too,
I think the accident was on the 5th night.
really,
The afternoon, it really was the 5th night.
going into, was it getting dark yet? What time was it?
4 o'clock.
Yeah, it's close. Wow.
Totally dark. Had an altercation with a going into a fight.
You must reiterate the why of our existence. You must
It's a real miracle. And on the 5th night, all that dark turned into light and light. And I'm sorry about your car. Now, 2 weeks, or 3 weeks.
And now we have a better car.
So we could drive to celebrate. We'll all fit in. I'm small. She have many reasons to celebrate. So Shabbos. Talk louder. I'm going to try, I'm sure. So the light of Torah widens our heart. How does it widen our heart? The light of Torah, the light of Tefillah, and Shabbos. The Shabbos Vayera imbues us with joy and with faith. And looking at the Shabbos candles, the Arizal said when we look at the Shabbos candles, we can see what's going to be the next week. We add 1 candle for each member because it's our future, it's our life. And it's a very special time. Friday night, every Jew has a thirst for Hashem. Just looking at those candles, it draws us like a magnet. This is the love between us and Hashem, the light. This is Shabbos Vayera, especially. And my mother's yahrzeit is Friday, and she when there were riots in downtown Detroit, that was in 1967. You were probably not born. You were not born. I was born. Plus, my brother was part of the National Guards, and he went downtown, and it was like a war zone. And he was there to protect the city. What did my mother do? My father drove, and I'm in the back seat. Bring him potato kugel. Risked our lives so he would have potato kugel. That's a mother. That's a mother. And when we moved to New York, my sister first, and then I did. I'm the youngest. My mother would send us packages, love packages. She would put in chocolate chip cookies, her famous chocolate chip cookies, which I still make in her name. She put in apples and oranges. Now, Brooklyn does not own a vegetable store, to buy apples. And, we weren't like in some desert. But it came from love. That was the most delicious apple and the delicious orange. And remember I showed you, I have 2 more of these magnets that my children gave. This is what I say for the years. These are like famous quotes from me. Not so famous, but. So one of them is, it's in Yiddish, nanter wie weiter, closer than farther. So when I would visit my mother, my parents, I would take a plane, like most of us do, to New York, JFK, LaGuardia. And then I'd get off the plane and switch to a 1 hour, 1.5 hour flight to Detroit. So I'd call my mother the public phones. We didn't have cell phones then. And when I get on the phone, she'd say, I'd say, hi, Mom, I'm in New York. At the airport, she'd say, nanter wie weiter. You're closer than farther. You just got off a 8-hour flight and you're about to get out a 1 hour flight. You're closer than farther. So this is one of the things I say. And it's a magnet. We're like collecting magnets. Yeah. That I learned from her. And then this is very, very important. It's chashov tov, yeh tov. Think good, it will be good. The Baal Shem Tov says we are where our mind is. So if our mind is in the holy Tzfat, overlooking Medrash, learning Torah, oh, we're here also. Wow, we don't even have to imagine it. We're here. Pinch ourselves, we're here. Think good and it will be good. Mind has a tremendous power to create. It says in the Gemara, if the gun, I don't want to face my anybody's head, but if the gun is faced, right, and it's this close to the person's head, and they have to take the what's that called? The trigger and let go. The person can still happen. For Rahman is it's a matter of seconds. It's a done deal. No done deal. It's all from Hashem. He's bigger than that bullet. So this is think good and it will be good. So let's think good, happy thoughts. Like we say, machshava and bisimcha. Thoughts and joy are the same letters, just twisted around, because a person can be in the worst place, but when he's happy, singing humming a happy tune, he's happy. And he could be the millionaire and everything in the world is his, like Haman. He had honor, he had children, he had all the money. He wasn't very happy. One little Jew wasn't bowing down to him. He wasn't. He said, nothing is worth it. So this is our getting ready for Vayera. These Shabbos candles. So what do the Shabbos candles do? Sidura Shel Shabbos is a book, and he says in it, chases out of the house evil and negativity, chases away worries and heaviness of the weekdays, and lights up the house. Just connect to those Shabbos candles. And people say there was a Rav, his name was Be'er Mayim Chaim. I don't know, was he back in time, Baal Shem Tov around then? He was a Hasidic rabbi. Actually, he lived in Tzfat for at least a week, I don't know how long. He came to visit, but he was a head taller on Shabbos. He grew a head taller on Shabbos. He once tried putting on his weekday clothes. They were too small. He didn't live here. He came here. He came to Tzfat. I'm not making this up. Who asked me if I was making it up last week? She was sitting here. The heir, Mayim Chaim. He was the brother of the Bear Miriam. But he came to Tzfat. He rented a room, a simmer, from an Arab. He went to the mikvah and he came back on Shabbos after the Chadodi. The Arab owner said, "You're not the one I rented the simmer to. You're not the one. You're a fake. You're stealing that simmer." He was a head taller. He also had a son who left the derech of Yiddishkeit. His son would go to casinos in the days they probably called it a bar. No, they probably called it something more interesting. Yeah, pundak. And he would gamble. And he'd get all into it. What did his father do? He'd come to the same pundak. He'd bring tissues and he'd wipe his son's forehead because he was sweating up with this gambling and with cards and everything. that he should feel good, he gave him a drink. Can you imagine? He was so much in love with his son. I heard that his son came back to the way of Torah, but I heard it was after he passed away. But whatever. I want to tell you what the Chabiner Rav said. He said, what is meant when we say his head was a head taller on Shabbos? Because during the week he was bent over and he was broken from the problems of all the people. Shabbos came, no problems. He's living the life of Gula. He's living the life. Stand up tall. So, wait a minute. Did he take away from the miracle? First we said it was a miracle. He was a head taller. That's a miracle. He took away from it to say, no, it was all like natural. He bent over and then he got happy and Shabbos, there's no problems. No. He added to the miracle. Becoming a head taller, okay, Superman. Can we relate to it? But standing straight with simcha in our heart and is a calling for each and every one of us to show us the way how Shabbos could and should, if possible, even a little bit. Not saying to be Superman and be happy and turn Dr. Jekyll, oh, it's Shabbos, I forget all my problems. Just try a little bit to connect, a little bit to enjoy, a little bit to say, wow, it's in your hands, Hashem. These candles are being lighted to my heart and they're straight from the Shekhinah, and I'm gonna take it for all it's worth. I'm gonna enjoy this Shabbos. And idea is to try not to get angry on Shabbos, because our home is our palace, and try to be simcha into it. When a woman lights Shabbos candles, she brings greater shalom of Aaron HaKohen. Remember Aaron, the priest, the high priest, he gave shalom to everyone, peace. Yeah. Now, there's a pasuk in chapter 6, pasuk 7. Yet lakachti etchem mila'am. Hashem says to us, I'm taking you. It's not written down. I'm taking you for my people. I am with you. And in Yirmiyahu it says, Ahavas olam avticha. Hashem loves us, everlasting love forever. Hashem is with us. There's a strong, deep, tight, loving, forever connection with Him. And I read something beautiful. It's Hashkacha. Look, it's the same alone that Elisheva read from. And this one is so amazing. It says that there was once a father and son, and they had an amazing connection. They were close, understood each other, the same page, love. Then the son moved far away. But you know what? They kept the connection because they yearned for each other. They loved it. They didn't see each other daily, probably before phones, FaceTime, you name it. Probably they just wrote letters, whatever. But the heart is above time and place, and they felt that connection. And after a while, the father passed away. And the son saw he was losing it. It was lessening his connection with his father, lessening and lessening. And that's one of the things when Yaakov, when his children told him Yosef died a couple of weeks ago in the Parsha, he kept mourning for him. He kept mourning and wanting him and missing him. And so they saw, well, something is not right, because it says that Gezerah alameis shishtakach min alev. Gezerah, that the dead person is forgotten from the heart. In fact, when Abraham lost his wife Sarah, it says in Bereshis, he cried for her v'livkosa. There's a little cup in the Torah. You can look the word livkosa. There's a cup in there. It's really small, tiny. Teaches us don't over mourn. It's a point. It's a place to stop. Hashem wants us to process our feelings, to feel our feelings, not to ignore them or hide them or keep them in or deny them, because they'll just fester out in a different, probably worse kind of way. Give them their place, but believe kosa, to keep it. Not to lose life because of it, not to become depressed for years. It's harder said than done, but it's the strength of the Jew. We believe and know that Sarah was in a better place, that the person who passed away is in a better place. Of course, we miss them, but we're also happy for them. And we're all going to meet each other, how fast life goes, you know, like yesterday I was 10 years old. 2 days ago I was born. I can't believe it, you know? I'm sure all of you, it was like Hanukkah was like yesterday. I was thinking when I read this, that when our son passed away, Arlozoroff, may he rest in peace. After the year, his first Yahrzeit, my husband said to everybody, we've done everything for Arlozoroff. We mourned, we cried. We did all the mitzvahs. We learned Mishnayos. We said Tehillim. We lit a candle. We gave charity. And now let's do what our Simcha wants us to do. The year is up. Let's be happy. That's the best memory for him, and it's the best way to uplift his neshama. By doing who he was, and by doing what he wants. Now's the time to be happy.
It's not a year for a child. A month.
It's true. It's
A
a month.
For parents, it's a year. People don't know that. But your heart goes 3 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. The morning is 1 month, but we also like for the year we did extra things, and at the end of the year he said, like leave kosa, like in the Torah where it says Abraham a small cup. Now it's time to move on, to keep moving. The Torah widens our heart, doesn't constrict it, and I sometimes think he's still alive, and it was a mistake because I still miss him and mourn him so much. I think like, wait a minute, he's not forgotten for me. I don't know, but I don't know. They say there's proof. But Mashiach is coming soon. And I know he's dancing with Hashem and Hashem's tzaddikim. And whenever I even have the thought to be sad, he's going from heaven, mommy, we have a deal. Remember? Things are good by me. And I want you to feel the same. So he's like, no. So this boy forgot his father through the years. His father had passed away. And then it says, this is for a father, a human father, but by Hashem, so he brings such beautiful psukim. Avas Kadosh Baruch Hu Yisrael T'vidi. The love that Hashem has for us is forever. Okay, Ima'ara says, Yisrael love as Hashem. It arouses in each of our hearts a love of Hashem, because love is two-way. And if he loves us so much, and Hashem is forever, then we should love him. I mean, no, should we do? It's natural. It's so natural. The other pasuk King David brings from Tehillim has 5 more layers. Uh-oh. It says in Tehillim, Yismach lev mevakshei Hashem. The happy heart will search out Hashem. When we're happy, whether we're a teenager or any stage of life, if we're to be happy, what's next? Hashem, Torah, mitzvahs. They're so good, they're so beautiful, they're so filling, they're so loving. It's just a natural thing. So if the person isn't keeping Torah mitzvahs, God forbid, or is like blah about them, keeping them because, okay, I have no choice, and okay, but it's boring, or check their joy, make them happy, make ourselves happy, because it's natural. Yismach lev, a happy heart, without Hashem, search for Hashem, for his mitzvahs. So we have the first pasuk of this parsha. Somebody would be so kind to read. It's chapter 6, pasuk 2. Okay.
ידבר אלוקים אל משה, ויאמר אליו, אני השם.
Now we have Rashi.
ויאמר אליו נאמן ושלם שכר טוב למצוות בפניו.
So does anyone have a question in the pasuk? If you don't, you can look at number 1 for study notes for a hint of what the question is. What is it telling us? What jumps out to us? What can we take home and take to our heart and live by? What's the first question?
If Hashem have to reassure Moshe, so to speak, that he is Hashem, then fortunately we need to keep reinforcing it to ourselves as well.
Yeah, beautiful. He had to tell Hashem, I was saying, how much we have to tell ourselves and each other. Like King David also says, I believe in Hashem because I talk about it a lot. I'm constantly convincing myself. I believe in Hashem, he's good, look for the good. He loves you so much. He's crazy about you. He's just wild about you. And just saying it over and over brings we know it in our head, but we want to bring it to our hearts. The math is in between. Just say it over and over. That would be our true amuna that we have from Abraham and bring it into our heart. And also, there's 2 different names of Hashem in this pasuk. Can anybody tell me the 2 different names he uses?
Elohim and Hashem.
Elohim and Hashem. And he says, I am Hashem. What is Elohim? What does that represent? Yes, right. Harsh judgment or judgment. And what is Hashem? Mercy, kindness, compassion. What's Hashem telling us? It's both the same. It's all the same. What might appear as harsh judgment is in truth my love for you. Like we say Shema every day, a couple times a day, 2 times. Shema Yisrael, Hashem is Elokeinu, which is again judgment. Hashem Echad, it's all one. He's teaching us how much I love you. It's all coming, everything comes from love. We ask Hashem, could we see your love and feel your love easily? And can we believe in it when we don't see it easily? Because Amunah, Misheyesh Amunah, Chayav Chayim. The person who has faith, his life is alive. It's alive because he has this to hang on to. So that's our first pasuk in the Parsha. Everything builds up. A person might think, I pray so many times, but Hashem's not listening to me. I said 1,000 times and he didn't help me. We don't know how many we need. Moshe Rabbeinu himself needed, how many? He did 500, what was it? 515, thank you. Oh, and you were born on the 5th night of Hanukkah, and you were in London. But you weren't in, what was the other, Warsaw yet. When you go visit, call me after. It's all part of that story. So 515 times. Also, it's the same numerical value as V'es Hanan. And I begged Hashem. Hanan is asking for chesed chinam. Chain. Which I didn't say I took the Jews out of Egypt. I gave them my whole life. It doesn't say what I deserve. V'es Hanan. Just give me a gift, undeserved gift. Had he prayed one more prayer, Hashem would have answered him. So Hashem said, stop, because it wasn't right for Mashiach to come. The world wasn't ready. But by all of us, we have a black box. Pretend this is black, and each time we add another theme of prayer, and we don't know when is it going to be full. Does it need one more prayer? So we should never, ever, ever give up, because it could be one more prayer we need that will turn the tide, that will fill the black box, that will get what we're asking for. in Borough Park, there are these big garbage bins, really big, because they have big, tall apartment buildings. And when it starts running, the garbage men or the sanitary employees run as fast as you think there's a fire to cover the garbage bins with tarpaulin, so the water shouldn't go in the rain. Now, why? I mean, it's water, garbage, like, what's the big deal? What's the rush? Because how do they pay the where they drive to the dumping ground and they pay them for taking their garbage? It's paid by weight, and the rainwater will make it much heavier. So they cover it to keep the cost down. One tefillah says, one prayer we have after 1,000 of us, is he listening, is he not? Am I really saying it or am I just mumbling it? One tefillah could be a little moist, like tears, like the rain, a little with feeling. That prayer can bring up all the other 999. That prayer can bring all of them to Hashem. It pushes through all the dry prayers. It makes it a lot heavier, like the rain in the garbage. And our tefillahs can be answered. So we should realize and know, and it's true, not just so we can feel good, that Hashem listens to every single word, not one word, not one oy Hashem, not one looking up to heaven. There was a rabbi who got a bone stuck in his throat. He couldn't pray, Hashem, help me to get it out. Hashem, I can't talk, I'm choking. He couldn't say any of that. So he looked up. That's what he could do. Even when the Jews in Mitzrayim were too enslaved to pray, they couldn't get the words out of their mouth. By uncle last week, they just sighed, and Hashem gave them to turn to him. Oh, my dear daughter, you're turning to me? Here, it's all this. Here's everything you didn't even ask for, everything you want. And the next pasuk I want to get to, because it's getting late, is chapter 6, pasuk 9. Maybe anybody else? Jude and Maya, can somebody read it? Who would like to do that in English?
Okay. But when Moshe told this to the Bnei Israel, they would not listen to Moshe. Their spirits crushed by shortness of breath and cruel bondage.
Wow, thank you. And the Orach Chaim in Hebrew. Thank you very much. Shira, can you give us the English on that? Thank you. So that's Kotzer Ruach. Their heart, their mind was like very narrow. It was expanded to hear the Geula, the Basulah, Geula, we're going to be redeemed. It's going to get better. Things are fine. We can hear it, but we're too tight. They weren't ready. And one reason is because they didn't have the Torah yet. The Torah makes our heart wide open to hear Hashem's love, to feel his love, to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And he knew the Jewish people were not yet ready. But the more he spoke, the time that they got ready, like that 1,000th prayer, it all came out. It all settled. It all was part of them. All the Geula, all the redemption, the Exodus. And Rav Shmuel Lovitz was in the war in Jerusalem, and he said that he told his students, they were in like a bunker by the Mir Yeshiva, he told them this Orach Chaim. He said this Orach Chaim, he said, my children, my students, we have the Torah. We have no problems. We have no problems. I think the Arlozoroff used to like to daven by a mezuzah. He'd hold the mezuzah, but his hand is Shakai, it's Hashem's name. We just learned about it today from Judy. And here he was running away from the Nazis. They were in the war. They were on a train and they couldn't find him. His students, his family, they were so worried. They found him in between two trains. Call them train carriages. I think that's maybe not in America, but it's okay. We're in Eretz Yisrael. We're closer to you. Carriages. And he was praying there. He didn't have a mezuzah. No mezuzah on the train. And he said, I'm going to go to the window, the door of this carriage, and Hashem will open up the door for our escape, for our Yeshua. And so this is, let's understand what the Or HaChaim meant when he said Torah is marcheves libo shel adam. It widens the heart. Because some people read the end of a book at the beginning. Do you ever do that? No, you want to be meta. You want to feel excited and not, oh, it's happily ever, it becomes boring. Okay, everything fits in place. But we're in the chapter of our life right now in the book. And what did somebody once say? If we still have problems, we know the story is not yet over. The last chapter is going to be good. We're in our chapter now. We're in Vayera, where it started slavery and oh wait, in Vayera is a Shabbos. It's all going to be good. We just have to hang on to the end of the story. Just turn the pages. Keep going. Like Abraham learned with Kosa, not to stay in his grief. Keep moving. Whatever problem we have in 50 years, it's not going to be very important. You know, fridge doesn't work, or got a bit of sickness. 50 years from now, I'll forget. I'm alive today. I'm worried about the faucet today. I'm worried about the doctor today. The Torah bridges our lives from the creation of the world to Mashiach, and we're in there. We're in the chapter. To learn to keep going, to keep moving. The Torah gives us an ability to look at the entire book. There's a story, there are people in Yerushalayim, and they were working with people that were not, they didn't keep Torah mitzvahs. Man comes in, he looks like totally, you can just imagine. Lots of earrings and head rings and lots of hair going down in those, braids. And he says his mother's Jewish. So he knows nothing about Judaism. He doesn't know mezuzah, Shabbos, Yom Kippur, nothing. So they asked him, well, did your mother ever tell you anything Jewish? He said she used to repeat something. She didn't know what it meant, and I don't know what it means. But I'll tell you what she used to repeat. Listen to this. Ivdu es Hashem b'simcha. Serve Hashem with joy. From Tehillim. So where did she get this? She told me it's a potion. It's a potion to say during difficult times, the hardest times. Where does it come from? To me, she says, I don't know what it means, but the concentration camp, she was on the death march where most of the people fell. She was most of the time next to the Kloisenberger Rebbe. If you know, he lost his wife and 10 children in the war, and then he remarried, had a family, built sons, built a whole Hasidus. He was so kind to the orphans after the war. One little girl didn't have socks, he gave her his own socks. He made a lot of marriages, weddings, and that after the concentration camps. So he repeated this all day long. Ifdu as Hashem b'simcha. He's smart. If he said it, I think I'm going to say it too. His mother always told him. And it's a skula. It makes us go on. Keep marching. Keep going. Ifdu as their mantra. Ifdu as Hashem b'simcha. Serve Hashem with joy. So, this. Learning Torah opens our heart. It's a very, very, very beautiful story about the Brisker Rav, the Beis Halevi. Have you ever heard of him? The Brisker Rav? He was born before the First World War, and he got married, and he got a great, tremendous dowry. He was rich. He got a lot of real estate in downtown Warsaw. He would rent out these homes, these apartments, He had enough, and he bought it from a very well-known real estate agent. He said, "You have enough money, you can learn Torah the rest of your life from the rent of this property you own." Then World War I came along. He fled. They all fled. They came back. He survived. He says, "I'd like my rent." Rent? This is my property. Your property? What are you talking about? This is my property. No. Prove it. There was no proof. World War I had destroyed all the papers, all the files, everything went up with flames, and he was poverty stricken. From being a very rich man, enough money for 120 to nothing, he was like shaken. He went into a room with a Chovas Halavavos, that Dova teaches. He stayed in this room for 2 weeks, not to eat Shabbos, but he stayed in this room for 2 weeks. And when he came out, he said, "I lost my money, but I gained Shar Habitachon. I gained trust in Hashem. I got the good deal out of it. I got a very good deal." Later on in World War II, he said, it was a Shar Bitachon that he learned from Chovas Halavavos that kept him alive. Those apartment buildings would not have helped him one bit in the war. Every nisayon, everything that we go through in our life, it widens our heart. It makes us better people, open to receive more. It softens us. And so it's not for nothing. It's not for nothing. Shem has our best eternal good in mind. Reb, who was it? The Maggid. He was short. Anyone remember his name? I wanted to ask Ilana. He was from B'nai Brak. Anybody? He's well known. I don't know his name. Somebody like him. Somebody very like him, but not him. Anyway, when you hear his name, you'll know. He was in Siberia. People were working hard, freezing, overworked, underfed, underclothed, terrible. And they would be, if somebody died, they would just tossed over the wall. And he prayed to Hashem, "Let me have a Jewish burial. Let me have a Jewish burial." Years later, he survives. He moves to Israel. He has many children, many grandchildren, many great-grandchildren. Ilana is his her daughter married his grandson. He would be at the wedding or engagement party of a great-grandchild, and he would say the words of King David, "Rechov Yerushalayim, Divrei Shagasi." It was so, my salvation is so far in the words that I cried. He cried, he buried a Jew, and his salvation was a whole world, a whole world. That's what he would say. So we should just stick with Hashem and see the hashgacha, like the Shem was talking about. There was a young man in yeshiva. He would dabble with money and make money. When he got married, he made a lot of money. He made a lot of money. He was up there, Fortune 5. I know he was up there. He was a businessman, very astute. He made a lot of money. And he was very close to a Rebbe here in Eretz Israel. He told the Rebbe one day, "I have to make a trip to America. I have to go to Las Vegas for a show." Las Vegas. No, not that show. A business show in Las Vegas. So the Rabbi says to him, "There's no nisyonos there, tests of tznius?" He said, "Oh, us from men, we all stick together there." "There's no nisyonos there?" "Yeah, but we all stay together." He said, "Wait, answer my question. Are there nisyonos there? Tests? Challenges?" Las Vegas doesn't have a good rating in tznius barometer. It breaks every barometer it ever. He said, "Yeah, there are." He said, "Why are you going?" He said, "Well, we can make a lot of money." He said, "Do you need this for Parnassa?" He said, "Well, yeah, it's going to be a lot of money." He said, "Do you need it to live?" He said, "Rabbi, I could sell my business today and have enough money for 120 years. So he said, so you don't really need it for to get along in life. What's your heter? Why would you feel that you're allowed to go? So he accepts, calls up his partner, it's off. What do you mean it's off? We spent so much time and so much money advertising on radio, billboards all over. You mean are you crazy? He said, I'm out of it. He said, we've already paid a lot of money. He says to his partner, could you call the radio station to stop it? He said, you call. I said, okay, I'll call. They said to him, they already made one first, it was out already, you can't take that back, but they will cancel the future advertisements. It's gonna cost him a lot of money. He told his partner he'll take on all the costs. And then around a week later, he gets a call from someone who asked him to come on television, nationwide television, to represent his product. And then it just burst up. It just exploded for the good. He got so much more rich and money than he would have gotten from this show, from the contacts in Las Vegas. So the last time the meeting was flipping from television, he said, why did you choose my country, my company? So she said, I'll tell you, I'm Jewish, I'm not Orthodox, but I remember my grandmother always telling me there's something called Basher, like it's from Hashem. So here I was, she's driving, she's a good driver, but if you take the wrong exit, the next one, like you're in the desert for a long time. Anybody ever been in Nevada? Wrong exit, it's a long time. And she took the wrong exit. And when she gets it, what does she see? A big billboard advertising him, his company, from the show that they didn't go to. And then she made the same mistake again. She's a good driver. She never makes this mistake. It's a timely mistake. She sees the same billboard. And then on the radio, it's in her car, she hears that first advertisement that they couldn't cancel. It was too late to cancel. A minute later, she gets a call from her boss. I want to do a big television advertisement, like a whole program on a good product. Do you have anyone in mind? She said, yes, 3 times in a row. She went off the road. Then she sees she said, she didn't know anything about the product. And that's how they got it. The end of the story is also amazing. He was going to China for another make a lot of money kind of business deal. And his rabbi says, if there's a television in the room of your hotel, take it. Disconnect it. Take it out of the room. So he gets their big television. I'll pay you whatever it costs. It cost a lot of money. They took it out. The next morning he left. They put it back in. It cost a lot of money. Then they were all vying for something, like they all wanted to get a big company. And he was like against like IKEA. He wasn't as high as IKEA, but they chose him over IKEA, over this. And they asked him, why'd you choose our company? So China is like, even though a lot of people, they're all like family, this was Hashkafa. And so there's his family, and then there's the Zaidi, he has all these patches on his clothes, stars. And they told him this story. He said, oh, he, Jewish, he, holy man, we don't shepherd him. We don't bother him. And he liked it so much and gave up, paid so much money, they got the deal. So if we hang on to Hashem, learn his Torah, and pray to him, our heart gets minded. We can accept his good. We can accept the good Ula and can think and know that good things are just around the corner. That we're going to get out of this. We have a Shabbos of Vayera to encourage us, to be with us, simcha and faith. May we all have many reasons to be happy and to believe. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye.
Hi.
Laura, good to see you. Have a good trip.
It's so good to be here.
Thank you. Anybody want to say hello to Sephora?
Hi, Tiffy.
Hello. Hi, Elishema. Good to see you.
When are you coming home? You're not?
March 1st. Hey.
Everyone to come home.
Yes, good.